Hello there, guys. So it's settling down time in the Samuel residence plus one, which is me, Kelly Cottam. And here I am. I'm going to be on later to try to break down something that I'm thinking that not a lot of other people are thinking. But at the moment, Dean is just in daddy mode with the boys, settling the boys down. And he might be flitting in and out. So I'll just bear with it. But I'm going to come on later and talk more about... I've got to try, I should really put the laptop in front of me. So rather than just trying to recall everything off my head, I want to get this right. Because if I don't get this right, and if I don't get the people that are listening to understand this right, you're going to go into fear and panic with everybody else when you don't have to. And people are going to jump to the solution, which is not the solution, because it's going to take you to exactly what I've been trying to tell you the Great Reset was about right from the beginning. Hiya there, Tina. Hiya there, Claire. Now, I don't sound so mad anymore, do I, to people talking about, shit, do I stay? Do I go? Do I leave the UK before the walls and the borders come down, before lockdown happens? And I was trying, I don't think people understand back in 2010 what it was I was trying to achieve. And I thought, I can't stop this. There's nothing I can do about this. All I can do is get my family to a situation where we're on our own land and I've got it held down to the point that, you know, I know what's going on with all the land and stuff. We've got our fruit, we've got our vegetables. The only thing I had to work out was, when the time come, did we need to perimeter our house to make sure that we were going to be safe? And there's other families that have died during all of this, locking their families down, building their land, and people have never talked about these people. And these are people that panicked with the great 2000, so what was classed as the millennium, yeah? There are people that have always understood the book of Revelations, and they've always known this time was coming. And people prepare for it. I wanted to be in a situation where I was prepared. And I remember when I first ever went to Belinda Mackenzie's house, I'll just give you the heads up quickly. I've just got a quick one on, only because I'm going on later. I'm doing a pre-one, so I can wait until the boys are settled. When I first ever went to the house, what I was fascinated by was the undergroundness of it. Now, when I was a kid, I grew up in a house where we had a loft conversion where you could go into a tiny little cupboard and you could go in and around and be all the way on the inside. And in America and places, they have what are called escape buildings in their house, and they do prepare for things such as tornadoes, they prepare for things such as storms, they prepare for things such as radiation, they prepare for things such as many other things. Now, the challenge with me in trying to look at everything that's going on and see how everything is fitting and coming together with said, so bring Davos through, because Davos is probably the more latest, and I can't remember the order in which they were done. So NATO's been since 1940 something. United Nations, I know, has been going for about 70 years or something. So both of these have got to learn to work together. But both of these are going to come from two polarity points of views. So use domestic violence as a thing. Do you really think they're going over to the Ukraine and Russia right now and doing everybody for domestic violence with the amount of people that are punching, kicking, killing and fucking stabbing and punching and raping and murdering and pillaging and fucking burning people's houses down and savaging and scaring the shit out of people? One, by telling that Russia that there was going to be a training exhibition and it was okay for them to come over to Ukraine, and then soldiers have stood over there going, what the fuck's happening? These people are actually going to shoot us back and this ain't no training exhibition. So anyway, then there's all this other stuff going on. So let's deal with the UK as the UK, right? Because it's bloody beautiful. The sun is shining. Summer is going to be absolutely wonderful. You're all going to get really fucking pissed at all the festivals and wake up with a chip in your hand. lined up, queued up, pissed as a fart, thought it was fucking funny, just like the tattoo on your fucking ass, and you've got chipped, because they will do it the moment you enter into the festival ground, like they did at the Olympics. Nobody was allowed a phone at the Olympics. Why? Because the e-scooters are affecting 5G. E-scooters are causing massive problems with the reception of 5G, and it is actually stopping 5G actually being initiated here in Portsmouth. However, Portsmouth Naval Base have already put out the radiation warnings and how to prepare for this stuff, but if you're a civilian, you won't get this information. Now, on one side of the coin, do they want to pre-vaccinate us all for the preparation of radiation? Is it all part of this? Is it not? Now, all I'm going to say to you is, as somebody like me, I have always fought for the majority, but I'm more of the minority, and it hasn't always worked for me. Do you remember when they said they were going to stop smoking in the pubs, the clubs, and all of the restaurant? Can you remember the fucking kickoff for the people? But they fucking did it anyway. Would you now go into a pub or a club where people were smoking? Would you sit in a restaurant in the smoking corner or the non-smoking now? You wouldn't want to go back, would you? Now, some things are evolutionary, some things are revolutionary, and some things are just, I don't know. I'm not qualified, I'm not skilled, and I'm not advanced enough to be able to answer those questions. However, I'm educated enough to do some research and talk to people that do know what they're talking about and ask them and debate about these things and have a conversation and understand things like Ethereum. Back in 2010, that's what I learned about. Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, gold, silver. So if you don't know who Jack Canfield is, Jack Canfield had an author writing and everyone was meeting in London, and I had a really cool conversation with everyone back there about the China syndrome and everybody saying about China coming in with what they were going to be doing. Now, why would I not know about something that is general universal credits when we were once on income support and then it went to universal credits while we were in the United Nations EU? Universal credits, it's the start. Most of the people that were on furlong are still on furlong. I need to ask how many people are still locked down, because when we're out there, and I've had the girl who's online, it's up to her for her to announce when she wants to announce, but they've been here again today. They've been here twice now. So I saw them yesterday, came here yesterday. She came and helped me with a car boot today. It was really funny. I've had a 16-year-old around, and that was the age that Liam was when Aaron and Faith were taken. So having a 16-year-old around, who one is EDS, who can do the same sort of things as us, and has the cheekiness, is quite cool. And then, of course, I've had two younger kids around today. Not quite Aaron and Faith's age now, but would have been the ages that I've missed out on, which was really hit me hard and was really quite emotional. But my PIP form's been taken away to get finished and done. And
I heard that story the other day about Eddie Boris. He selling arms to the homeless people in England. Yes, Boris.
Do you know that's probably true?
The new story for Boris.
That's probably true. That's probably true. That's probably true. Now, let me just say something on Russia and Ukraine. Any civilian, any ex-military, any person going over to fight a war, you are classed as a terrorist in their country. You will not be a hero once it has been declared what you have done, because you are getting involved in a war between, it's not Ukraine and Russia. This has got nothing to do with Ukraine and Russia. This is about NATO and Russia. This is NATO and Russia. Wales still wears masks, but no more lockdowns. The only reason I say that is because I've had her here today, and obviously the car boot that we did today, the irony, the woman who runs the show and comes and takes the money, she comes, I know what you're like, you got to be off here by 12. So anyway, when the time came, I said, now this is a pilot study they've been doing. Car boots aren't going to run until April. So they're going to move over onto the other field, which is one that can be locked down, locked in. I said to her, which she doesn't know what CBD stuff is anyway. Now, crypto is very different. So please don't think this is about crypto. It's got nothing about crypto. It's about stopping crypto, stopping Bitcoin. But this is also about people using other people's stuff and going, oh, you lose it for gain. Don't forget it come from China. So I've got Wallet on my phone, yeah? So probably a lot of you have got Wallet on your phone. This is the starts and implementations of it. Now, what I will say is I had to get so many freaking petitions to protect, this is when I was at university, to protect the Wednesday sports and societies. Now, I didn't agree with this because as a mature student who's already grown up, already got kids, I went, hey, this Wednesday sport thing doesn't actually work. It would actually be more ideal to put it and beneficial to put it on a Friday, because then you're either going away for weekends and stuff, and because otherwise people have got to be back in lectures for Thursday. So if you've got true athletics and they've got seized joints from pushing it and going off to a competition and you're keeping the Wednesday, come Thursday when they come back into lectures, they're struggling. So if you moved it to Friday, it would actually be ideal because they could recover over the weekend and back to university for the Monday. However, when you are elected the way I was at university, you have to stand for the majority, not the minority. But the minority are usually right, the majority are usually wrong, okay? So back to the smoking thing, back to things that have changed. Is this an evolution? And would this actually really benefit everybody? Yes, if it wasn't centralized. And the reason, because it's being centralized, because go back to what I was saying about China, and then people can go, it's like security cameras, surveillance. People can go, yeah, but I'm not a criminal, so it doesn't affect me. So, okay, Russia's not a criminal, but every single Russian has been stopped. Yeah. So I tried to tell you that back in 2012, they shut my bank accounts down. They suspended my benefits. They evicted me from my property. They did all of these things to me that I didn't realize that were done as push you off the edge. Deliberate, because they can sanction you. People on benefits understand sanctions, yeah? Now, that's because you sign a contract to say that you're going to seek for a job for 40 hours. You will do this, this, and this. Look, no one gets free money, mate. Yeah, money is man-made. God is gold. Yeah, people stopped. It came to the point where it was only the tinkers and tailors that would come around and collect all your Creelos, yeah, your Creelos, yeah, all of this sort of stuff. And let me use Creelos as an example here, yeah? My mum brought me a pair of Creelos once when I was about 15, yeah? Because a lot of my friends had these Creelos. And I wore them because my mum brought them to me. I fucking hated them. I despised them. I thought they were fucking ugly. So was the sovereign ring. It was all in the keeper's ring. It was all very heavy and boom, 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 boom. But anyway, I lost one. And when I met my first boyfriend, he replaced my Creelos and went, oh, I'll go back at Creelos for you. I was like, okay, so I wore these Creelos. Then I lost another one deliberately and went on with my life. And I had two non-matching Creelos, and then I met James and he brought me a pair of Creelos and I was like, oh God, I'm gonna have to wear these earlobes. By the time I met Graham, I turned around and said, I am so sorry, but I am not, I can't have these. I don't like Creelos. And he's like, okay, I'll take them back and we'll go over to Argos and get whatever it is that you want at that particular point. And that was a really big thing for me, to actually go, yeah, but I don't actually like them. And I had a load of jewellery and stuff around and my friends noticed it today. And I went, please don't look at that and ever want to buy me a present off that, because that's stuff I've collected and not stuff I wear. And that's different, because all of this stuff was originally done for social services. Like I would try to progress because it's about progression, and I genuinely progressing. You know, I needed the bed, I needed to lay down somewhere, I needed those functions, I need the drawers, I need to put my drawers, my clothes away and my underwear away and my shoes away and have functions and the boys stuff and all of that sort of stuff. That's practical living that takes a bloody long time to achieve, and it does. It takes a whole life to have a garage where you've got your winter stuff that you can go and get your snowboard and stuff out, or you know, you can hook up the caravan and go away to Wales for the summer, or you can, you know, pitch up in and have your winter stuff. That takes a whole family to build. And that's what I'm sort of telling people to do at the moment. Learn how to really get in and out on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency get it in the fucking bank, take it out in cash, and just play this for a bit, because you're going to have to. Because if you don't, when they crush the cash, people are going to go, but how am I going to get shoes for my kids and go down to the shop? How am I going to get some petrol? No, don't run out and get shitloads of every petrol. The reason that they're going to do this is because they need you on electric cars, but they can't supply and demand on the electric cars because they can't get enough lithium. So it's a bit of a catch-22 on, is this really as sustainable as they really believe that it is? And should we take a lot of the good from this? So go, okay, lockdown's over. It's not, but it is, because they've already preparating for next winter. This is going through in their agenda to 2020-30 and then running through to 2050 with a new one that hasn't been signed and sealed yet. And it won't get signed and sealed until the progression, which will be measured in 2025. So they will be able to look at pulling in new funding, new stuff, probably about 2025, because they've committed to 2020-30. And the fact that they've committed to 2020-30, once someone's committed, you're either committed or you're not. Yeah. So someone will either get fired, and they will only get fired based on misconduct, blah, 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 or because they disagree with the mission statement and cause and agenda of that said bill, white paper, contract of agreement and expectations between the people who signed that, be it that be the United Nations or NATO or Davos, whether you want to pick up a gun or whether you want to write with a white feather. Light and dark exists whether you believe it or not. Yin and yang exists, polarity exists, hot and cold, and it all comes back down to energy. So if enough of us, now people can turn around and say, you will never, ever, ever change the Lord's plan for revelations. Really? That's why he created me. So anyway, on that note, fuck off. Right, so on that note, he created all of us. Yeah. So anyway, on that note, in the next couple of months, we will now move into, so we're coming into the end of winter. So the end of winter will cease March 23rd, 20 something like that. The end of the financial year is March 31st. They will reset all of this ready for the 1st of April, right? Most of you won't even know that this has changed over, because you will just be grateful for that extra ones. There's going to be people that have mortgages that are going to be offered the greatest fucking mortgage and incentive that you've ever seen in your life, and it's fucking brilliant. And you will go with it. And you will take the £1,700 a month. And it will not be until later on that they change over how this works. So the phone app in your hand right now, which you're very comfortable with, and you can pay cash, scan, do your little PIN number thing, scan, do your little PIN number thing, go on Amazon, do your little deliveries. Soon they'll be done by drones, and we won't have these people running around, and the drones will be coming in with all your Amazons, and soon you will go for a nice coffee, and it will not be the miserable shitbag behind the counter, but just to have a nice day robot. And a lot of this could actually potentially be really good. And rather than burning it down, we could implement it and use it for a lot of good. However, the mark of the beast is not the chip in your hand. And they never, ever, ever said that it would be that, but that would be the signs of the forthcoming. Okay, so, and this is a difficult one, because someone in the EDS community said to me the other day, we're going to have to watch so many people potentially have the cure for EDS, and we're not going to be able to take it. And I was like, damn, if there isn't a cure for EDS, mate, I'm first in the fucking queue. And then I was like, yeah, would it really bother me to have just a little chip in my hand with my medical records on it, which would be my medical numbers, There you go, 31st of March. All my benefits are currently being reviewed early, so they are definitely doing something. I'm just trying to see more. I don't want to cut you guys off, so I tend to see the messages later, because if it sees more, I tend to try and read it later. You will, a lot of you as well, will get a text to ask if you're a veteran. They're trying to locate all veterans at the moment. There's a couple of other things going on. I just ask you to just literally just go back to the beginning. Just go back to the beginning. Not the one that says off the back of COVID. Leave that. Go further. Go back to the first ever festivals of idea in Sweden, I think it is. Go back to the original ever Great Reset. Go back to Klaus, the original people from the One World Economic Forum, and just ask yourself, is cash and getting rid of cash no different than smoking in restaurants? And is this something that we need to learn to adjust to? But do you realise that once it gets to this, how would you feel with your universal credits if you went into the job centre and said, I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and I just need my partner with me because he's my carer, and they said no, and you went, but hang on a minute, this is against the law, they can sanction you. So hang on a minute, what if you attended said protest? Don't attend any, I'm not calling any protests, yeah? Don't attend any protests, yeah? Any protests between this particular point, because they are getting your faces on face recognition. They are storming you out to bring you in to find out who you are, just like they did at St. Paul's, okay? This only works if we allow it to work, if we conform to the ways of the world. If we don't conform to the ways of the world and we go sustainability in ourselves, not till 2030, but from cradle to the grave, and leave longevity for our own families, and we come back thinking like that, the generations before us, the layers of generations that come before us, the layers of generations that will come after us, the seeds that we will plant now and the seeds that our children and further generations will plant. We may not be around to see the implements of the changes that we make now, but we can lay a stronger, better platform for our future generations to pick up the pieces from the things that we couldn't finish ourselves, because this is going to go on for a long time. And it is either a case of getting some very militant people that go in and take the commandment of the 10 out, which could potentially be happening, and stopping it before it gets to this point. But there are a lot of people out there at the moment that are so institutionalized, and it's really hard for someone like me to deal with people who are so ingrained to the dogmatic, systematic, and even being around those belief systems is really difficult for me. I find it very much easier being around the people that are actually implementing a lot of this. And there comes a line as well where even I step back with families, and the reason that I don't get involved with families is because I can see why eugenics happens and why middle class people look at certain people and make the judgments that they do. But because I was raised on council, I also have a different perspective, because I spend a lot of time on the streets. But the fact is, there are some people in this world that you couldn't allow them to be parents. But do you sterilize them? And then we come into a world of people going, you can't speak like that. But the fact is, where's this line of evil? And luckily for me, I don't really know true vile evil in this world, because I don't run around with people that are vile, nasty, evil, vile people. So as long as somebody ain't gonna harm my kids, and I mean sexually, physically, or emotionally, you're pretty all right to me at the moment. Do you know what I mean? However, there's this thing called manipulation and grooming and coercing and gaslighting and psychological warfare that happens. And this is where I get really upset, because I see it happening to people, even mums that I see around the car boot that are walking around with the masks on. And I just want to go and explain, but they wouldn't understand, and they wouldn't get it. Or if they did, it would change who they are for the rest of their lives, and there is no going back. Once the veil has been lifted and you see things for the reality that they truly are, and once you truly understand the spiritual warfare and battle that goes on around us, and you see things, you realize that things are not quite the way that it was seen. Like I said, the whole Father Christmas, Easter Bunny and stuff, and it's like waking up in a deep, dark depression, and you got to climb yourself out of it, wishing that somebody would just come along and take you out of that. And you realize one day the only person who's going to get out of it is you. But I'll tell you now, 100%, if it was not for my faith, if it was not for my faith, I would not be here every day. Every day is a new day. I might have to start the same battles with the website people, but every day is a new day. Every day is a new blessed day. And it doesn't matter where I am in my physical body, every day I have a new day of getting to that upright MRI scan. Every day things come together. I am doing the Bristol skate after the absolute fucking disaster of me crewing with them. I am not fucking doing it. I couldn't give a shit about anybody else skating right now. I'm skating for me. So I'm going to get some form of EDS campaign. I'm skating for me, only me, nobody but me. I ain't skating for nobody else. If you get anything out of it, that's your dollies, because I ain't fucking giving a shit what you get from it. I don't give a shit if it inspires you. I don't give a shit if it freaking makes you want to go, I don't want to skate. I don't give a shit if it makes you go, if she's skating, how she got such a debilitating fucking condition. And I couldn't give a shit if it makes you go down to the fucking shop next day and buy a pair of roller skates and fall over and break your fucking neck. I couldn't give a shit. The only person I'm going to give a shit about in April is me, my headphones, my music, my backpack, and me joining a lot of other individual, amazing, wonderful people who would probably inspire you to get some skates on and break your fucking back. But I don't give a shit about them, and I don't give a shit if no fucker stops me when I fall over. I don't give a shit if none of them like me. I don't give a shit if everybody loves me.
Language, Timothy!
Oh, I didn't know he was sat there. So, and I really don't give a shit, because there's probably 100 there, and one of them will go, hey, how you doing? And another one will go, and another one will go, hey, how you doing? And another one will go. And unfortunately, little Kellie here, who's quite a little emotional and quite a thing, goes, hey, hey. And I can't really afford to do that. So I'm putting my headphones on and I'm skating it. However, I am currently dealing with cranial instability. My neck is protruding, but it's not down. If it drops down, it's very fucking horrible, very numbing, and can be like a full-blown freaking paralyzed seizure. When it's up, it just gives me a numb nut, like someone smacked me in the back of the head. When it's up, it's all right. It's just my head wants to go bump. So let me just explain something very, very, very quickly. And that is just to give you an expectation of what this means. I could swallow a sword and I could do some fire things. So basically, right? So your head's not meant to actually do that. So if it wasn't for the flesh all contained, my head would not be on the little pivotal stick that sits in here. And that basically means that the vagus nerve that runs all the way from in here, all the way down to my toe, it runs all the way down your spine and all the way down your spleen. So I end up with that kinked. So, which is why I don't sing. And my voice can literally go from everything from this to this, because of the vibration that goes on in here. Also means I struggle eating and I need to be sick. I've already been sick this morning before I went out. I keep a little stuff things just in case I'm sick in the car. I sit quite a lot. I've become so used to it that I don't have a problem with it because I've been doing this since I was about 13 years old. It's other people around you who are just not used to it. And unfortunately, if someone said to me, right, I'm going to be skating now, how you feeling? I go, oh, well, my right shoulder's out, my fingers are out, my hands are out, my neck's out, yeah, my knees are out, my hips are out. I really want to crack my back in right now. Most people would go and call an ambulance. And if I was a dog, they would have put me down. But that still means I'll skate. Okay, the only way I won't skate now, actually, if my hips are out, then I want to skate because it's the movement slow, as long as I'm going at my pace and not to somebody else's. Unfortunately, Kellie is a quad skater and most of them are inline skaters and they can zoom much faster than us. And I liked the fact that my car was behind them the other day because I gave them an opportunity to be safe on roads because I watched the difference when I wasn't there. And actually, I just come round the corner and saved 3 girls that dropped the stuff that went out of their pockets and stopped the cars that were actually about to slam into 3 girls so they don't see this shit. Do you know what I mean? And they were able to have the lights on, check, pick their stuff up, and they were safe. And then they went, oh shit, it's Kellie. So anyway, they obviously really didn't realise I was behind them the other day. And most of them felt more comfortable with me being there. It was just the lady who was in the car with me, who I didn't know, she didn't know me. And even she said, I've never seen you at the skate place before. And it's like, I just flit in and out. I turn up when I've got childcare or when I feel like skating. But Brighton is a little bit sentimental. And the reason, Bristol, sorry. Is it Bristol or Brighton first? Bristol. I'm sure it's Bristol. So it's April the 7th, 8th or 9th, one of them dates. So I'll probably go 7th, 8th and 9th, which would coincide with my birthday as well. So I've already asked Dean if he will help out with the boys, but I also want the boys to see it because it's quite lonely being out there on your own. And I like my kids seeing this. I like the fact that Aaron and Faith, Liam and Daniel were all there when I jumped out the aeroplane or got pushed, so dragged out. But for this skating one, I know I can complete it, but I know that I won't want to drive home straight after because I won't be able to keep my legs together. And literally, I'm going to have to sit there probably in the hotel later with my right hip. But make sure I've got a fucking chiropractor for after. You know, this is the problem. Why can't I just do what I've got to do and let someone put me back together? Because doing this doesn't hurt. It annoys me and it irritates me. It's a party trick to people like us. It doesn't hurt. Getting that stuck hurts. Slipping the discs in my back hurts. My neck coming down hurts. 17th of May and I'm going to Alton fucking Towers. I'm going, seriously, this is what I want to do for my birthday. I've made the decision and I'm making it happen whether it kills me or not. And that is, they've got the CBBS hotel in there, and Elijah and Shiloh are now getting to that age where all that babiness and all that stuff's going. They're turning into boys now. They're not toddlers. They're not babies. And because of all the shit and everything that's just gone on, I just want to give them that complete immersion in children fucking doolally without worrying about whether Disney are paedophiles, whether Merlin Magic is about all this shit, and whether or not, you know, all that sort of stuff. I'm not going to be able to go on to many of the rides because of my neck, but that doesn't mean it will stop me, and I'll do it in a crane if I have to, because me and Liam and Daniel are roller coaster queens. I was with the kid that was in the gravity wheel upside down when it was at the fairground. I was the one that was in the waltzer making it spin. So, you know, I've always been an extremist in that way. My body just hasn't represented that. And it's very difficult to run around with able-bodied people when you limp, jump, hop. Like I've said, if I was a soldier, instead of left, right, I would be left, ow, oh, right, left, right, ow, shit. You know, so it would be no point, you know, I wouldn't be able to do that. But I want to do this, and I want to do the Alton Towers for the birthday thing. But this is the problem with being on disability. I don't want to be on disability for these very reasons, because the rest of the world goes, oh, well, this person can do this and this person can do that. And it really isn't any bollocks to the rest of the world. And what someone's finances is not the rest of the world's. But you'll notice the difference between people who have money and people who don't. They're happy talking about money. It really doesn't bother them. If you'd seen Shiloh today at the car boot, it was like, have you got money? Yes, no. Simple as that. Yeah? Just donate what you feel like paying. And that's how he was. And it was only because I said, hey, how much? Like, Shiloh would have gone 50 quid, £10. You either pay it or you don't, mate. You know, he's a businessman. He wants to be a doctor. But with said most people, and even he turned around and he said, well, hang on a minute, how much do doctors get paid then? He can stay on a packed lunch, I'm not registering. I've just seen about school wants me to... Oh, it's through the cashless system already. Hang on. Is that through cashless already? Is it school dinners going through cashlessness already? See, in a lot of things, is it going to make our lives easier? Yes. Yes, it is going to make our lives easier. Yes, it would. I hated, making sure you could pay the milkman, making sure, school dinners and all this sort of stuff. And I said this back at the beginning with benefits, that it was so difficult because to try to come out of the system, as in the income support system that we had before. And it's like, you've got disability, you've got motability, you've got that to deal with. Now, that's supported because it doesn't matter if you work or not. But it's about how your condition affects you. So it's meant to support you to do whatever it is you need to do. So even if I wanted to roller skate with fucking a wheelchair, that's just the way it is, We're meant to be enabled to do the things that we love and stay in passion. So if you wake up in the morning and you've got to be cracked and stuff before everybody should yawn. How many people actually wake up in the morning and open their curtains and put their hands up and open their mouths and fucking bless the day anymore? I mean, very, very few people do that. They roll over and go straight to their phones. And it's like they really do want to put you in these pods. They really do want to put you in this NFT world. They really do want to put you in this meta world. And they really do want to keep you there so you can have any dream you fucking like. It doesn't matter if it's a sexual fucking fantasy gratification or whether you want to build or live next door to fucking Snoop Dogg. So they're going to do this to you very fast, very quickly, and all of a sudden you'll never hear from somebody like me again because I'll disappear. I might even get shot in the fucking head. Who knows? We could actually be all good and everything be safe, and people will go, what the fuck was that woman talking about? Nothing happened. But if you sit down and you research this stuff, you screenshot it, you save it, if all of a sudden it disappears in 6 months' time, you'll go, what happened to all that information about it? Because it's online. They're not hiding it. It's not a conspiracy. They're just telling you to get in line with it. If not, get shoot and fucking shot. Britain got in line with it. Britain is in NATO. Britain is in Davos. Britain is in all of these things. Brexit wasn't what you thought it was. I don't know how to explain it without going, I'm still trying to get my head around a lot of this stuff. And if you imagine that I do spend a lot of time on my own, okay? Obviously, I've got my kids and I've always been with my kids, but that's because I've always had kids. I've always been dropping kids off at school, doing all this, doing all that. But if you imagine that when George Osborne made his announcements and I'm sitting there going, hang on a minute, they're not talking about changes that people like me are just going to get left alone and it's the new people coming in. And this is all sorts of stuff. This is even things like, just more making decisions for me. Because everybody's telling me what to do, what time I've got to get up, what time I've got to drop my kids off, where I've got to drop my kids off. And it's like, I wanted to be a fucking mum. I wanted to be a mum. If you ask my mum will tell you, Kelly just wanted to be a mum. That's all she wanted to be. She didn't walk around going to dolls. She just wanted to be a mum. And she just wanted to not make the same mistakes everybody else did and be a really good mum. And then I wanted to be a social worker. So, and then a youth worker, a stunt woman. So all I'm saying to you is, once your chip is in place, and once they are then telling you, so imagine your universal credits now, imagine your wage packet now, imagine whether you're a doctor, it doesn't matter if you're a nurse, it doesn't matter if you're a police officer, it doesn't matter if you're a civil servant, it doesn't matter if you're a fireman, it doesn't matter if you're a teacher. This isn't just for the poor, this is for everybody. Go and look at China. Go and look at how it works in China. If you don't spend all of your money by the end said financial year, it will be deleted. And they will tell you what you spend that money on. Do you really want to be force-fed your life again? Do you really seriously want to keep living an obligatory life of doing what you're told when you're told? Did you choose to be in the army? Did you choose to get up and stand there and go, yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full, sir? I'm not saying be disrespectful. I'm saying be a family. Be a community. I don't know if I'll ever have this for myself because my family think I'm mad as a box of fods talking about this shit. You know, they don't understand why I talk about this stuff. They don't understand why my mum, even with the forced adoption stuff, my mum goes, I know it's got to be done, but why does it have to be my daughter? You're not fucking Joan of Arc and stuff. Why does it have to be my daughter? Dean gets scared for me. He goes, one day they're going to put a bullet to your head, Kelly. You're going to walk down the fucking street, Kelly, and you're just going to turn around and it's going to have gone and you're not going to know anything other than that. They get scared for me. Not my day to die. So, yeah, and I get scared for me too, which is why I want to make sure that all my paperwork's in shit. And the only reason that I'm really here is to make sure that Aaron and Faith, Liam and Daniel, and Elijah and Shiloh know that I love them. I've always loved them. Aaron and Faith were taken from me. Liam and Daniel lost the greatest years of their education in school and athletics. It wasn't even the school stuff, it was the athletics I was more interested in, the football, you know, the outside sports that we'd done day in, day out, week in, week out, season after season, you know, and then for my son to be 16 and 13 to lose that so quickly, you know. But anyway, all me and my children will be restored in the heavens anyway. They will not have us up there. But I would like to see us restored down here. And I would like to see my family told that it was never about attention seeking. This isn't attention seeking. This is just trying to say what's going on. Like, help. Help me understand. What's this? Yes. Why? And I do all this to show you that I am different to you. But I can give myself a hug. And I can give myself a pat on the back. That way too. And that's why I was designed this way, because the Lord decided that nobody was going to give me a pat on the back. So he made it so I could do it myself. Look how happy that makes you, giving you a pat on the back, eh? Ta, 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 ta. So anyway, all I would say is go and do your research. I did say I was going to pop in and come off, but I'll probably fuck off out now for the night because I've given you the information I wanted to talk about. All I would say is the federal banking system owned all the cash. They came up with, other people came up with crypto and Bitcoin. They want control of this. They're going down the middle line to use the same technology, but it's always existed anyway. But all I can say to you is when you die, it all goes back in the box anyway. It all goes back in the box. We can't take it with us. And as the great thing says, it won't be what size telly you got, whether you got a decent iPhone. It will be the places and the people that you didn't spend the time with that you'll regret. So anyway, enjoy the places with the people that you choose to make memories. So anyway, see you at sunrise.